Kia ora and welcome to Cinema in Context, where we discuss all things film and the connections between. My name is Jeremy Downing.
I'm William Chen.
And today we are joined by a very special guest, Katy Roose. Katy, welcome.
Thank you.
So Katy is a theatre practitioner, a lover of cinema, and in particular animation, which is very relevant for today's episode. So welcome, Katy.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Each month at Cinema in Context, we discuss two films, one current and one retrospective with some connection. It could be the same director, the same actor, or a similar theme. This month we are discussing the Lego Movie 2, the second part, and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. The connection being that, well, it's Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. So they directed the first film and then they produced the second film. And I guess this is a discussion of their oeuvre. William, do you want to give us a rundown of which film you choose?
I can do Cloudy.
Excellent. Give us a rundown of Cloudy
So
with a Chance of Meatballs.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs came out 2009. It's an adaptation of a very well-known children's book. I would say adaptation, but really much more of an expansion. Talking about the backstory of how one day in the town of Swallow Falls, food comes raining down from the heavens and how the townsfolk deal with that stuff.
Excellent. And Lego Movie 2, the second part. So clearly this is a sequel to the previous Lego Movie, which I think sort of took the world by storm. I don't think I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, which I think is probably a theme of their films, of Phil Lord and Christopher Miller's films. They have these terrible ideas and somehow make them work. So the second movie, it's done a pretty good job of being similar to the second film, but taking some of the themes and some of the meta qualities of that world and taking it an extra step further. So it follows the story of Emit, the happy-go-lucky lead character played by Chris Pratt, and his band of Lego characters as they fight against an alien invasion in the form of Duplo from the system Sistar. And some of the characters get captured by Queen Whatever Wanaba.
Yeah.
Voiced by Tiffany Haddish. And he goes off and tries to save them. On the way, meets some other characters and various events ensue. That'll do. There we go. Cool. Who wants to start us off with either film?
I guess just talking about Phil Lord and Chris Miller overall, I do want to go back to the point you said overall where I think these two people have just spent a career like subverting expectations, whether it's within their movies, where I feel like a lot of their work, actually every single one of their movies, the theme to them has been about seeing something for what it isn't, which is really, really interesting because that's also kind of how they work, it seems. Taking these very, very strange treatments or things that, this sounds like the worst thing on paper, and making something golden out of it. And they've done it again and again and again on stuff that they've either written and directed. For example, the first Lego Movie or their old TV shows. Like, have you guys seen Clone High, by the way?
No. Only like a little bit.
It is brilliant. The one season show on MTV cancelled. That was their first major stint on TV. And even to, later stuff that they produced, I mean, on the podcast, we all talked about our love for Spider-Verse and amazing stuff, really, really amazing stuff. And I think that theme just runs through every vein of their work, which is really, really interesting.
Well, let's start with Cloudy then. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, because I hadn't seen this film. Had you seen it before?
I thought I had seen it, but I think that I mustn't have because a lot of it was new to me. So if I did see it, it was a long time ago and maybe I only saw half of it. It's a really fun movie. And I remember watching it being really surprised at the start with the really sci-fi credits, the opening credits, and being like, what's about to happen here? Which I really enjoyed that kind of look to it. I think it's a really fun story. I mean, it has a couple of issues, but for the most part, it's a really enjoyable concept as well, like the idea that you can make food appear from water, whatever you want. All I wanted for the first half hour was a massive cheeseburger. I just kept wanting to eat cheeseburgers.
It is a cool idea, right? I mean, that's like one of those things as a kid that you dream of, that, you can just make whatever food you want appear from the sky. Yeah. It's like going to school and having a drinking fountain that has lemonade and I'm sure that whenever we had school council things as a primary school student, it was always like, we will have Coke from the lemonade fountain. This is the promise that I make to you, students.
Pizza for lunch.
Yeah. Donuts every day. But in terms of the sci-fi credits, it reminded me of Be More Chill, which of course we were involved in last year and William saw. But there's that kind of hint that something's going to be coming later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's got that whole sort of, it's a similar sort of trajectory. It's like great idea that is just incredibly destructive.
And ends up taking over the world. And yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised to have Anna Faris as the voice of...
Yeah.
Sam Sparks.
Is it Sam Sparks?
Yeah.
She's so funny.
Yeah.
Her voice just got me straight away. I was like, oh yeah, I'm on board. And who's the voice of the main dude? I didn't know.
Bill Hader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones, and this is one of the things I love doing in animation anyway, is instantly, I can't help it, instantly on IMDb, who is this? And like, is that Andy Samberg? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Who is
definitely
Andy
Samberg?
He was,
Baby
Of course it
Buddy
is.
or whatever his
Baby
name
Brand,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is it? That's a parody of what's that old 50s
It's the Pears ad, I think.
with the kids' pants getting pulled
Oh,
off?
the suntan lotion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, maybe there's a few of them then.
Well, yeah, because there was the Pears ad, which is the soap, and the little kid getting into the bath and the bum showing. And,
Yeah. What a strange bit.
Yeah.
You know,
And then it just gets stranger from there.
yeah. I spent in terms of advertising. Like, what a strange time of advertising.
Naked children.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not right.
I suppose it's because it's cute, but
Yeah. Kids' butts. Cute.
Yeah, but okay. So the film does get strange, which I loved. So yeah, what are some of the issues then? Let's jump into that. What are you?
It was mainly around, I guess, the Sam Sparks character. It was a lot that I felt it was trying to do a sort of a female positivity empowerment thing. It wasn't landing for me, and it kind of kept pulling me out of it more than going, oh yes. So she's, he's trying to impress her all the time, and she's not really on board. He tries to kiss her, and she stops him. That kind of stuff, and the message is good, but I don't think that it was executed very well. And so she gave up being a nerdy kid to be pretty so that she would be accepted, which happens all the time. But to then go back to being herself, it was glasses and ponytail back on, as opposed to just embracing who she is with how she looks now as well. I don't know. I get what they were trying to do, but I think for me it wasn't so much it didn't quite work the way that I think it was supposed to.
Yeah.
Because she still ended up changing who she is now to fit what she should be, as opposed to just being herself. It was a bit strange. The glasses could have come back, but I didn't think the ponytail needed to.
I guess they were trying to play with that trope of the glasses and the hair coming down and then the glasses coming off,
and she's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite. But I hear you. Like they're trying to do something. I think actually I think about all their movies, they've often got the two male leads and then the girl on the side that kind of, she's the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
But it's that whole kind of like sassy kick-ass girl. I mean, what do you think?
Oh yeah, completely. I think with the Sam Sparks thing, the sequel doesn't do anything interesting with her, which is unfortunate. The Tale of the Chance of Meatballs 2 is, I think, probably the weakest of all these movies. And for Lord and Miller, I don't think they wrote, or maybe they helped with the writing, but they definitely they didn't have that much of their fingerprints on that thing. And it shows. It's not a very interesting trajectory overall. But I think
what happens in the second one? Because
the food becomes sentient, and there's all these food puns, and there's like watermelon, the kiwi fruit, like little kiwi birds with kiwi bodies. It's really cute, but it's pretty inconsequential.
So it's more a kid's sequel as opposed to a continuation of what is quite a clever story.
And I think now there's also a TV series on Netflix, which is just real, bottom of the barrel kid stuff.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
That's probably a good segue into Lego Movie 2 the second part. Oh my gosh. Which I'm not convinced on that title. I know they're trying to...
It's a pun.
Is it a pun?
It is. It's a second part. It's a Lego part. It's just like the
doesn't
first
land clearly.
The first Lego movie. The original subtitle was "The Piece of Resistance," which is the pièce de la. It's supposed to be so lame. That's great.
Yeah, I did not get that, and I just kind of didn't. Even the joke of like being kind of a lame sequel title just sort of didn't land for me.
Yeah.
But I was when I started watching the film, I got to sort of the second act, and I was like, oh, this is boring. This is just like every other kids film. And by the way, we need to warn people that we're going to be spoilering these films. Full spoilers. I don't think we've said anything spoilerific so far.
Not really that cloudy.
Yeah, but
Which
even
is
then,
old, so.
Yeah, should have seen it. Not that I had. Katie keeps taking drinks of coffee and then always spitting them out. You've got to make sure that... Be careful. Anyways, what was I saying? Yes, Lego Movie 2, the second part. So I was sort of just not really loving it. Like, I was enjoying the jokes. I loved the Mad Max reference. I loved the Aliens reference. But I was like, oh, this is kind of just a run-of-the-mill story. And then they just sort of like... It really surprised me. I don't know why I didn't expect it, because it happened in the first film as well, when the Will Ferrell character comes into it. And it's just got this whole meta quality that it's like all about play. And then when the Maya Rudolph character came into it, I was really impressed. And the whole thing was
Armageddon.
Yeah, I did not get that.
It took me a couple of times saying, and I think about the third or fourth time they'd said Armageddon. I'm like, Mum.
I did not get it, which is good. It was a good reveal. And but it went from your run-of-the-mill kids film to that next level of, okay, they're actually, saying something here. And, I mean, the whole conversation about toxic masculinity with the Rex Dangervest and Emit wanting to be him, and ultimately it was him, but, like, trying to be that version of a man and actually completely missing this whole other narrative that's going underneath.
Yeah.
And he ends up becoming... I mean, that's a pretty powerful... deconstruction of toxic masculinity.
Yeah, and the whole concept of just be yourself, don't try to change for anybody else, which it clearly is a theme between both of them, based on what I was saying before about the Sam Sparks character, is be yourself, don't worry about what other people think, and be true to who you are. I did love how Emit in this apocalyptic, what was it, Apocalypseburg?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, was the most awesome Lego setup I've ever seen. When the kid deconstructs it, I'm like, I want that in my house.
And what a great reveal as well, that it's like the adolescent mind, which I didn't get when it was happening until, of course, later on.
Yeah.
Like, perfect. Of course, hers is princesses and his is,
Yeah, but him being the only one who still everything is awesome and everybody else is all dark and war and all that stuff. And he's just bouncing along super happy and not having an issue at all. Like, he's such a great character to have in the middle of all of that. And I came to a point really, like about halfway through, where I was really thinking, is it that the Lego story is affected by the kids' minds, or are the kids' minds being affected by what's happening in the Lego world? Like, it hit this point of, I don't know which one's having more of an impact on what. Is it that this is happening because of the children, or are the children behaving the way they are because of their Legos? It became a really kind of a mind bender for me, because I obviously, who didn't play with Legos as kids, and there were Lego sets that were a critical part of every single game that I played in my childhood. Lots of imagination and stuff with my best friend was the kid, and when we were in little Lego form, we had the fire station set up and this and that, and then we were in adult form, and I don't know, hard to explain, but it was one of those really amazing things of what's in control here, what's actually kind of like the Toy Story thing. Are they alive? Are they sentient?
Well, it reminded me of Inside Out, and how we've got the emotions and the girl, and like who's like they're controlling the girl, but she's got her own story. Like it's a pretty impressive dual story going on.
Yeah, and I think they leave it vague enough for you to kind of put your own processes and your own thought behind what the heck is actually happening, especially when the Rex Dangervest character gets he reveals his dark backstory. And it's amazing. He gets lost underneath a dryer, or the dry system. But then there's that amazing shot where you see the world from his point of view.
Yeah.
And it's like the passage of a couple of weeks, and you see the kids and time lapse and how he's forgotten. But to him, it seems like an eternity.
Yeah.
And it's just such a beautiful melding of the two worlds, and just really amazing filmmaking. Like I really didn't expect that.
I was really impressed with the reveal that he was him. It was a fun reveal, but because I was just for a moment like, what? Like, what? This is so confusing. And I'm like such a time travel fan, and I'm usually pretty. I think it was just the way that the film set up my expectations. I didn't expect it to have a reveal like that, and so it was so satisfying when it went through how he became. Who he became.
Yeah.
But they do drop a little tidbit at the beginning where the boy, while he's playing, it's like, stop messing my stuff. I'm crafting like a time travel narrative.
Oh, does he do that earlier on?
Yeah.
Ah, cool. I remember that line.
I missed that completely.
Oh, that's impressive. So they do a really good job, these guys, at having that multiple layers of story going on. And it's quite different to, say, the Pixar model. The Pixar model, they will craft a story down to its absolute primal emotional beats and then build a story from that. So it's got thematic layers, but it's accessible for kids. Your DreamWorks films will often sort of pepper them with adult jokes.
Yeah, I think DreamWorks has always more been about the humor and the moment to moment rather than the whole picture.
Yeah, which apart from Shrek, I've never really appreciated.
How to Train Your Dragon is great, but that kind of leans away from that. Of
yeah,
course.
That's more that Pixar. I would say more Pixar route. And then this is just something quite different, like where it's self-referential. It's sort of playing with the pieces.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't always land, but with the character of Sparks. What's her name?
Sam Sparks.
Sam Sparks. Yeah. Clearly, she left an impression. But I mean, I love Anna Faris. That's why she.
And she. I think she's a really really funny character.
Yeah.
Just her delivery. Some of the stuff like when they're on the pier, like it takes what is a really trite setup, the emotional pep talk, and then it turns into something just bonkers when she kicks him in the eye.
I know! It's like Looney Tunes.
It's okay, it's just pain.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, let's look at the other films. So we've got 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street, which were just... I mean, have you seen?
I've seen 21 Jump Street.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it surprised me with how much I enjoyed that.
And the second one is just as good.
Right. The second one is it's the most meta movie you've ever seen.
Yeah. Brie Larson, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Is it Brie Larson?
She's in the first one, yeah.
It's the reveal of who the baddie is in that film is one of the greatest moments of reveals. I don't want to... Yeah.
Sure.
And then, I guess spoilers for 22 Jump Street, but... The entire movie is about how this movie shouldn't exist.
Right.
And it's a movie about sequelitis. It's a movie about how comedy sequels suck, and this is why they suck, because we're doing it right now.
That's all a reference to their job.
Yeah.
This is why we never do a second what do they call it? Project or something. Yeah. That's right, I forgot about that.
And I shared it with you yesterday, Jimmy, but the sequence, the credit sequence of 22 Jump Street is just, it's balls to the wall amazing. And it's so cynical, but in such a loving way.
So they go through every single iteration of sequels that they could. So they go 23 Jump Street, 24 Jump Street.
Right.
They go to like 30 Jump Street. And then by
it's
the
like
time
2021 Jump Street.
Yeah, it's very fun. And then, of course, when they were considering making a sequel to 22 Jump Street, I was like, what are they going to do? They've already done it all in the credits. But their plan was to do a Men in Black
crossover.
Right.
Which never came.
Yeah.
Which is a new Men in Black film coming out.
Yeah.
Men in Black International with Tessa Thompson and
I've heard about that.
Chris Hemsworth. So cool cast. Right. So I mean, they're definitely very talented at taking bad ideas and. Yeah, I don't know how they do it, because Spider-Verse as well is not a good idea on paper.
Yeah.
Like, let's put a whole different Spider-Man into a film. Like,
And such like disparate, backgrounds and art styles, and somehow it's magic.
And the same with Lego Movie. Like, when that, like I said at the start of my spiel, who thought that was going to be a good film?
Yeah, a movie about Lego. How can you possibly do that?
It's going to be an advert, and it's going to be really crass and, money grabbing.
And it is all of those things because I want every piece of that's on there.
Yeah.
Like all those brilliant little moments in the animation when Emmet's building something and you see all the piece numbers.
Yeah,
You're like, they're completely embracing what it is.
Yeah.
It's extremely well done.
Can we talk about how brilliant the character animation is for the Lego Movie Part 2? Like Queen Whatever I Wanna Be. Holy moly! Whatever. I was just blown away. And we've never seen anything like this. It's like someone took a stop motion Play-Doh character and made it into something tangible and plastic and fixed. But then every 5 seconds, she takes another form that's unique and never comes up again in the entirety of the movie.
Yeah.
And how do they do that? I guess it's with algorithms and with
because it's all CGI, isn't it? They just dropped the frame rate so it looks like
and they added stuff like dust and thumbprints, and it's really cool. But just the technology behind the filmmaking is nuts. Man.
And she's a great character as well. Like her song, firstly, I loved that it was a musical as well.
Yeah. Yes. That coming.
And Wild Style was like, wait, are we in the musical?
My flatmate walked in when I was watching. She's like, is this a musical? I was like, I don't know.
It is now. Yeah. Great. But her song was great. And the whole, I'm not evil, I'm not here to do anything evil, I promise, I swear. Like, you're completely with Wild Style at that point of, clearly you are evil.
yeah.
It was extremely well done, and the animation of that character was really outstanding. But then that's the brilliance of all of the animation, like even the fight that Emit and Rex have under the dryer. And it's just chests, and then it's just clicking hands, because that's all Lego people can do. They can't ball up their fists and have a punch on. It was exactly how you play fight with Legos as a kid, and it's genius stuff.
I love this musical. For me, the songs weren't as good as they could have been. Like, compared to Everything Is Awesome in the first film, like, it was great. And even that song that's supposed to get stuck in your head. Vaguely remember it.
This song's going to get stuck inside you. This song's going to get stuck inside you. It worked for me.
But, that was definitely the highest point. But even that, like, I was like, like, it could have been better. Were the Lonely Island guys involved in this?
Yes. Did you stay for the credits?
Yeah.
They worked with Beck for the credit song.
And Robin.
Oh, that's
featuring
right.
Robin on the Lonely Island that did the credits.
And so that they were singing about, check out these names in the credits. It's like, the people who edited the credits are the best people in the world.
Yeah, it's an excellent song. And that actually was interesting, because watching Cloudy, I didn't love the final credits. It was such a...
Oh, the song was weird.
The song was weird. The animation was weird.
Oh, I actually love the final credits.
I just felt going from the opening credits in that really sci-fi feel to essentially classic animation, and then into this really weird...
It was very Terry Gilliam-esque, and one of the inspirations is obviously Yellow Submarine, because there's a direct callback to it. With them dressed up in the Sgt. Pepper's outfits.
I guess I just didn't feel it worked in the vibe of the rest of it, and then watching the Lego movie credits, I'm like, well, somehow these are excellent. These are the perfect credits. And it was a really interesting how different I'd felt about the two sets of credits even.
My issue was the song, but my issue was more of like a completely technical issue, and I need to ask you guys. So I watched it on Netflix, and there were like moments where I felt like there should have been text on the screen for the different actors, and there wasn't.
Oh, and then there was supposed to be.
It wasn't, and I could. And
so every character, like when 2D Flynn is on, it's like Bill Hader, Anna Faris.
The words weren't there. And I was like, I'm
weird.
sure that's like a perfect place for the words, and like clearly it's all the different characters. You know how they always do the different characters.
Do you know what? Maybe that was my issue, because I watched it on Netflix as well.
Were the placements there, like the little placard?
There was just like a little placard, or there's like a banner, but there's no names. I was like, this feels like a missed opportunity.
That's weird.
And then I tried to turn the subtitles on, and then I watched the whole credits to see their names, because I wasn't sure if it was Anna Faris or not. I watched the whole credits, and then no actors' names came up. I'm like, I'm sure that would have been in the end title sequence.
Yeah, it totally is, and it's really cute. And okay.
So
maybe that's part of my issue with the credits as well, is that I'm watching this 2D animation and being like, why is this happening?
The words were missing.
Do you guys think it's a like localization issue? Like, so I know on the DVD, if you switch to different languages, it comes up with different languages during the bits, right? And if you watch it, some streams of it will have all the text missing.
Well, that's what happened. That's what happened on Netflix when all this text was missing.
Okay.
Some of the technical people were there, but why would the names be different?
Because
it's
bizarre.
Even in different
languages, they're going to have the same name.
It's still their name.
It's Bill Hader.
Oh wow. There we go. So that was my issue with the credits. I just realised as well when we were talking that the Lego Movie 2 Part 2 second part 2 sequel strikes again. That in the first film it was like one big kind of moving barrel, and in this one you had the two different moving barrels. And I just realised it's because it's the second movie,
and it's thematic because it's all about things coming together.
It's also the boy and the girl, and everyone holding their hands in the end. And
then at the end, they the first one they got. I'm a huge Lego fan. Sorry, but I'm wearing a Lego t-shirt right now. But the first movie they had a lot of fan submissions for like fan creations to actually be in the movie, and you see glimpses of the footage of the fan films.
I saw that,
which is really cute. And the second one, they got fan submissions of like siblings building together. And in the credits, there's all these fan submitted photos of different pairs of siblings in creations, and it's really, really adorable.
It is, and there's some really cool creations in there too. Wow.
Is the film doing well in the box office? No, it's such a shame. What's happened?
Maybe it's just franchise fatigue, because I know the last Lego movie, Ninjago, did not do well.
Right.
And this is doing better, but Because Lego Batman did really well.
Yeah, but I wonder if they'd not done those two movies and Lego Movie 2, I would have been a bit more excited. Yeah, that's a shame because I think it deserves more attention than it's getting. Like, I didn't even really know if it was... People were like, is it come? Is it gone? Like, has the advertising budget just not been very good?
I don't know.
I think the title sucks. I'm just going to say it. I really think this title has a lot to say for... like, it's a joke that I don't think, like we're saying, doesn't land.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
I can't even remember it properly, which we know from this whole podcast.
How many different ways have you said it?
Like, I really... Like, the power of a name is... You know, it's very powerful. Here's me talking about how good to articulate yourself. I can't even do it myself.
How good to articulate it.
I'm a good speaker.
Can we go back a little to when you guys were talking about the themes and like toxic masculinity? Just to going back to that a little bit, I felt like that theme is so potent and so powerful. And it, in the movie, I think it presents itself in a way that is really layered as well.
Yeah.
Because I watched the movie again for the podcast. And did you guys pick up, or was it just me, like, this is a movie about the DCEU, isn't it?
Yeah.
About, like, Justice League and Superman and how, you know, after Wonder Woman, we're moving into a more hopeful direction. And am I wrong in saying that this is taking direct pot shots at Warner Brothers and what they've done to Superman and how everything's dark and gritty? And
I don't know that I took that from it, but as you say it, that is making a lot of sense because obviously the DC is heavily represented in it as well, and also Aquaman, the only one voiced by the actual actor. Jason
I love that. I don't know if it's that specific. I think it's more about how we define heroism and leadership and how it's just so ingrained in superhero films. Well, the DC ones, which are just generally crap. You know, they're just generally really average and boring. And I think Marvel, you know, they're just doing such a better job at playing with those kind of ideas. But I think it's just more in general. I mean, you think about all of those characters that Roger Dangervest is playing. They're all Chris Pratt's characters from the last 5 years.
Yeah.
You know? Like that's...
down to the dinosaurs on the ship.
Oh, I love that became a huge bit. Like raptors...
And when he described himself about these are chiseled jawbones under a layer of puppy fat.
So good. And I love that he voiced both characters.
Yeah.
And have you seen the Onion film review? And he does the Jurassic World film review. And he sort of says something like, it's a satirical review. And he says, I enjoyed the film, but I just feel very disappointed that they didn't have subtitles for the dinosaurs. I think I would have known much more what was going on. And then he adds in the subtitles, and the subtitles are named things like, I'm hungry, let's go kill that person, you know?
Yeah.
And they kind of pull from that with the raptors. The raptors just say the most mundane, boring things. It's a very funny bit.
And so is the movie saying that everything that Chris Pratt has done since Parks and Recreation is not, you know, it's not the right direction for his career?
Well, I mean, it is because it's working for him, but there's a lot to say about the types of characters that he's been playing.
And just that definition of leadership.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that moment where Dangervest says, just pick a star and go confidently. That's leadership.
Yeah.
You know, like this, what a great, and I mean, to be honest, that's a lot of people's concept of leadership is just being charismatic, going ahead.
Just be confident with what you've done and it was the right decision.
And it's a very white male, you know, corporate. It's that whole thing of like, you know, those CEO roles attract the most psychopaths.
I'm instantly thinking of Alec Baldwin in 30 Rock, like that's exactly how he operates.
I mean, I probably think it's more of a dig at the current administration than over superheroes.
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely that, and also like I would say just fandom overall. It seems like, let's talk about the Trump thing first.
Yeah,
which
goodbye, half of America. All you listeners who are listening out there.
So Lego Movie 2, at least the first half. Oh, actually, both halves. It's totally about Trump, isn't it? Like, it's about how the world is a pretty crappy place. And after the end and Lucy's arc overall is realizing that you don't need to be cynical and you don't need to
quite
lose
lovely, yeah.
and to give up even when the world around you has and is literally on fire. And how she rallies everyone together is saying, everything's not awesome, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. It's beautiful.
I did love the Everything's Not Awesome song.
I was really critical, and from my review, I was really critical of the Lucy arc, but I hadn't considered that. That's a really lovely arc. I didn't realize that. The revelation of her not being cynical, and she starts off as the brooding Mad Max, the bitter drink that the only thing that will sustain me, coffee. But you're right, and I think that's a great lesson in an age where the age of outrage, isn't it? And how it's not helpful to be so angry
and to be isolated as well. I think. And both, sorry, I have notes here about this. Just watching Cloudy again and watching Lego Movie 2 in close succession, I think that really rings through both of these movies, and I guess through most of Lord and Miller's stuff is the theme of community. And how oftentimes the goodies are inherently good because they have people to lean on, and because there's real teamwork. Like in Cloudy, the mayor is the bad guy because he's selfish, and even suppose the villains like Baby Brent, like they get redeemed because they end up finding purpose.
Yeah, and working together.
Even if it's a living chicken man, but
which I love,
which is horrifying.
I loved it. I was so about it.
I love that aliens reference, or Aliens 2 with all the chickens like on the ceiling, and then one of them just eats them.
I mean, I love the Aliens reference in Lego Movie 2 with the Marines going into the sack, the egg sack. It was them going into that weird Duplo, I don't even remember what it was. The weird vines coming down.
Yeah.
Clearly they love aliens.
But like there's just, and in Spider-Verse as well, it's all about what we gain from each other. And I just so guys, I have a list here of children's films in the last couple of years that have done a terrible job of this and have messages that I go and watch these because I love animation. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yep.
So Hotel Transylvania, all three of them, they're brilliantly animated, and yet the theme is all about like love at first sight. And if you have a spark, that, and it's so toxic and obnoxious. And, bad. Ice Age 2, 3, and 4 is about heterosexual relationships and how everything's better if you own a couple and if you have kids. Gross. Now, Despicable Me 2. I think the first one has a pretty good message about non-traditional families. The third one is about sibling rivalry and getting. I like 1 and 3. I think they're good. They're good positive messages, which makes it all the more galling when the second one. Have you guys seen this film?
No. Oh, maybe I have. I don't know. Is it the one with the Mexican character?
Yeah, it's pretty racist. But it's the whole arc for Gru is the youngest daughter Agnes. The whole of the first movie is like, Daddy, you're our dad, and you are my daughters. And then the second one, she's like, Dad, what's a mommy? And the whole movie is about like, you need a mother and a family for it to be a proper family. Like, disgusting.
It goes against what the whole point of that first one was.
Absolutely. And I come to the crux of the stupid rant, which is The Secret Life of Pets / Peter Rabbit. Now, both of these movies are so hedonistically violent. And what is the theme of both of these? It's about violence. It's about getting your goals because you are a dick and because you are selfish. Peter Rabbit is a obnoxious little thing, and it's not just him. Farmer McGregor, who he's the antagonist in the books and in the movie. He's just as bad. And it's about the two of them trying to kill each other. That's what Peter Rabbit is about. It's not cute. It's horrible. And Secret Life of Pets.
That was amazing. Oh, sorry, you're going. It's still going. It's
Secret Life of Pets.
Epilogue.
It's like every single character is Peter Rabbit, and they're in it for themselves. It's all about pratfalls and violence and selfishness, and how you can win and how you survive and prosper in this society where everyone's just nasty to each other. That's some really, really. I don't have kids, but I will not be showing my kids these movies when I do have kids.
Yeah, far out. I hear what you're saying, and like, I get really, really frustrated when there's films that their message is, just go for your dreams. Do whatever you can. Don't listen to anybody. And I'm like, well, no, there's a healthy mixture of like, you should care about what the people you care about think of you. Like, it's my thing. It's like, don't care about what randoms or but your family and your friends, like, they care about you, and they're gonna. You should listen to them sometimes. Which
I think is excellently displayed in the two films we're talking about today. Cloudy, the dad. Yeah. I'm obsessed with the dad in Cloudy.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about him. He's a wonderful character.
He is so wonderful. Like, right from the start, that even though he doesn't understand his son, he just wants the best for him. When he turns it into, what was it, Tim and Son's.
The bait
and tackle.
Yeah.
And he's put the sign of and sons up there and looks at him and goes, are you feeling it? Like, he's so happy that his son has come to work with him because he loves him so much and he cares for him. And he doesn't want him to fail at life, which is why he wants him to give up science, because it's not working and he wants him to succeed. And it's beautiful. And then the whole way through, him just not being able to express himself. Yeah. And they put the monkey thought translator. I cried. I don't care. I
really thought...
I teared right up.
I really thought that he was going to explain to his dad how to send an email by fishing puns. That's what I thought he was going to do.
That would have been cute.
And then the translator at the end was lovely.
But I also love that the fate of the world rested on a dad's ability to send an email. Like, who hasn't had to talk their parents through? No, you just click on it and click and drag. Click it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Mum.
But doesn't he send the cat meme?
He sends the cat meme. Hide the power. So it's such a brilliant little moment and the look on the dad's face when he's asked to send the email, it's just the sheer terror of having to do that. It's a beautiful moment.
I tell you what, one of the things that surprised me about this movie, and it shouldn't have because it's Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, is how it starts off so pedestrian, and then the climax is epic. Like, it's huge. Like, you've got that spaghetti and meatballs tornado, and you've got the thing in space. And I think all of these movies, like, you think about the end of Spider-Verse, which is one of the most amazing visual sequences I've ever seen in film. It is phenomenal. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
You've got to go.
Yeah, everybody's telling me it's amazing.
It's so good. And their movies, they're epic. And they earn their endings.
Yeah.
And that was the case with Cloudy, and also the case with... I'm trying to think what the ending is. The Lego Movie 2. I guess the Lego movies, it's that meta quality, isn't it? Like, you earn the dual story.
Yeah,
that's their big ending.
And the siblings coming together and finding a way to work together,
playing outside.
Yeah,
to get around mum's rules.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. I love how Will Ferrell was literally phoning in his performance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, going back to Cloudy, the amping up of the stakes is I think one of the joys of that movie.
Yeah.
And they just have such a fine takedown of all these disaster movies. How he has a dangermeter. It's like, oh, that's never going to happen. And then and the setup of the film was so beautiful because so much of what happens in Act 3 and Act 4. I love 4-act movies. It's all set up, like all his inventions.
Yeah.
The fact that he has the spray-on shoes, it's set up when Steve's playing with it, and
the monkey thought translator,
the
flying car,
all that stuff. You're right. You're right.
Everything mattered that he had made. It was all useful. It was all good. It just was not the intention. It's not what it was built for.
That whole reincorporation is so satisfying. And when you feel like things that are just fun jokes when they come back in, I love that.
Did you guys realize that the first shot of Flint when he but before the credits like shoot off into the distance, and when he is like, then I realized, and that's a shot when he has the epiphany at the very end of the movie where how to defeat the machine. For Lucifer is to use the spray-on shoes.
Yeah.
What do you mean the first shot?
The very first shot before the opening credits, where you see his face and it's all day-glow colors.
Oh.
And that's when he has the epiphany at the very, very end. It's such a beautiful symmetry thing.
I need to rewatch it.
Yeah.
Those spray-on shoes, the fact that he still had them as an adult was such a great bit as well.
It's horrifying.
And it's just does he still have them in the next movie?
Yeah, he does. And he...
He's literally never taken off his shoes. That's disgusting.
I'm sure that your feet. How could your feet be okay with that?
They wouldn't.
They'd be shriveled. They'd be. Oh man, and your toenails would probably break through, wouldn't it?
Probably the only thing that I struggled with was the fact that he was still wearing the same shoes as a kid. Oh no, they've got to come off.
I also love how in Cloudy the themes are so. I mean, they're portrayed in a way that's so on the nose, where you know, when they're kids in the flashback, like the Andy Samberg character is like, "Ooh, he wants us to be smart, but that's weird."
But it was such excellent kid teasing as well.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a lame statement that he made, but that's what kids do.
What was the Four Eyes joke as well?
Brilliant setup for the joke.
What was that? It was
where, you know, in Sam's backstory, she's obsessed with the weather as a kid, and then the kids made fun of her just for her glasses.
Yeah. You've got the four eyes.
Yeah.
You can see good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. How was it as a scientist?
I really, I mean, it's obviously really pro STEM. I love how they talk about the genetic mutation of water molecules, which, yeah.
Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah, water has genes, you know? Water can beget more water.
Could you zap it with radioactive waves and create a hamburger?
I mean, according to the movie, I would say unequivocally, yes.
Well, I mean, that seals it. That's science right there.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Cinema in Context. If you enjoyed our podcast, then please share it with your film-loving friends. You can listen to Cinema in Context through SoundCloud or through Apple Podcasts. You can also follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on Twitter or YouTube, which are great places to let us know what you think of this episode or give us suggestions for future films to discuss and compare. Look out for our next episode in a month's time, and until then, ka kite anō.